can briefly go through the remote hearing. Only speak when invited by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and direct all communications via the chair. Will everyone please ensure their mics are muted and when they are not speaking, apart from the chair. If you have any technical difficulties, please use the chat function in Google Meet. Please do not use the chat function for any formal questions. Once the application has been considered, can remaining parties be asked to log out? Please do so promptly so that councillors will have the opportunity to deliberate and make a decision. I'll hand over to the chair. We can start off with the first item on the agenda. Can we elect chair, please?
Can I nominate Councillor Bell?
Thank you very much and welcome everyone again. Deal with formal business. We have apologies from absence from Councillor Penny Root. Emma, do you have a declaration of interest to make? No, and I do not have a declaration of interest to make. And as you know, we're waiting for the police to join us. So I'll run through the procedure once they've joined us. Is that there? PC Hunwick?
Hello?
Hi,
yes,
welcome.
Hello there.
Hello. We've just started.
Yeah.
So
I can just about hear you. Normally, this Google Meet works on my phone. I do this at home, but for some reason, it is just not having it in the office.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to have to try and make progress and hopefully your connection will stay up.
I can only just about hear you.
Okay, I will try and speak a bit louder. Hope that helps, but we'll have to start making some progress on the hearing.
Is that Councillor Bell?
It is indeed.
Yes, hello there. I thought I recognised the voice.
Hi. Just about introductions. So I'm Councillor Brian Bell, chairing today, and sitting with Councillor Emma Pluvier. And as you may have already heard, Councillor Penny Root has sent her apologies. Now the officers attending, okay. I've got Mr. David Tuitt, representing licensing, Amanda Nouth, who's our legal officer, sorry, and Rabia Khatun, who's our committee officer. Obviously, it's yourself, PC Hunwick from the police, and I can see the applicant, Mr. Dizbudak. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. And Mr. Sutherland, are you appearing as his agent?
That's correct, sir. Yes, thank you.
Right, but I had Oslam Haas down, but you're substituting. That's fine. Amanda, do you want to drop my things?
Just a quick point to say, if you could say that about the other application not proceeding because it's
it actually sounds clearer on speakerphone.
Okay, just as Amanda reminded me, the other application that was on our agenda today, Biddle Brothers and Lower Captain Road, has been withdrawn by the applicant. So we no longer need to proceed today.
Was it withdrawn?
Yes, been withdrawn.
Does anyone know? Oh, wasn't in there.
Yes, just to confirm, Biddle Brothers has been withdrawn, not proceeding. That happened just shortly before our meeting.
1:15, yeah.
I need to clarify one thing urgently in terms of what's been applied for Munch. The application is a little confusing in one respect. If you can get up paragraph page 3 of the application form. It's on page 8 of the committee report if you're reading from that. So the second box there, sale by retail of alcohol, is not ticked. But further on down in the 10th box, if licensed activities will include sale or supply of alcohol, please state whether on or off the premises, and you've ticked both. So that's a little bit confusing as to which you want. So could Mr. Sutherland or Mr. Disbarak please clarify what you're applying for?
So yes, I can clarify that. It is very confusing, and I apologise for that confusion. No alcohol is sought. This is just for late night refreshment. I think the confusion in relation to both is that whilst the food is provided indoors, it's consumed out of the premises. And I think the person who's completed the form has thought that it's necessary to
on an email on the inbox.
Okay, I think we heard that clearly. PC Hunwick, did you also hear clearly this is only for late night refreshment? Did you hear clearly that this is only for late night refreshment?
Yes, no, we're aware of that, obviously, for the nature of the establishment.
Okay, that's fine. Then to explain our procedure, it's over to the applicant. In this case, the applicant is the police. They're applying for a counter notice against the temporary event notice. So they go first up to 5 minutes to make their case. Then the applicant for the 10 gets to respond for up to 5 minutes. And then we have a general discussion. At the end of that, once we've exhausted issues, I'll invite you to sum up and ask you to withdraw. And we'll get our decision to you as quickly as possible, but hopefully by tomorrow morning, the very latest, in summary form, with a written version to follow. So with that, it's over to the police to make the case against the temporary event notice.
Do I need to present the report first?
Sorry, you're quite right. Sorry, David. I jumped ahead there. Please.
That's okay. I'll keep it very brief. Members are asked to consider a temporary event notice which has been given in respect of proposed event at premises located at 148 Shoreditch High Street, which is known as the Munch. The event is proposed to commence from 0400 to 500 hours on the 30th and 31st of October, and then from 0200 hours to 0500 hours on the 1st of November. The licensing service have received an objection notice from the police, which is on the grounds of prevention of public nuisance, public safety, and the prevention of crime disorder. It's in today's agenda at Appendix A, and the 10 is at Appendix A, and the objection notice is at Appendix B. Thank you, Chair.
So just to clarify, they're applying for a 1 hour extension on the Friday into Saturday morning to go up to 5 o'clock. Same on the Saturday into Sunday morning, and a 3 hour extension on the Sunday into Monday morning, going up to 5 o'clock each morning.
That's correct. That's correct. Those are additional hours over the premises license.
So, PC Hunwick, would you make the case for the police?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Our submission is fairly simple. As a result of all the bars, etc., reopening to full capacities following the various different stages of lockdown, we've seen a return to high levels of violence, violent alcohol-fueled violence, antisocial behaviour, public urination, and unfortunately, nitrous oxide usage by various different parties out in the street. The venue, Munch, has become a focal point for people standing around in the street consuming their food after they've been in the bars. And unfortunately, this has led to a great deal of antisocial behaviour on that part of Shoreditch High Street and French Place, which is a residential zone which overlooks Munch, which has led to a number of different complaints from residents about people standing around and noisily consuming their food, and obviously nitrous oxide cellars. And unfortunately, to the degree we've had people coming and playing music in the street and having something of a party atmosphere. We have objected to most TENs in the area, as it has purely served to elongate the amount of time that this antisocial behaviour is going on, and particularly outside Munch, which has led to various different alcohol-fueled violence, which only 3 or 4 weeks ago led to a stabbing directly outside the venue. As is our submission, that Munch is very position is leading to these people standing around in the street, and as such, any extension of their hours merely seeks to extend the length of time to which the residents have to put up with the noise. We'd also be reminded that the venue is in the special policy area, and as such, there is an onus on the operator for any licensable activity or additional licensable activity to show that they would be of actual benefit to the area and not merely just further disruption. And on that submission, Chair, we have objected to the additional hours and feel that the hours that the venue already has are more than sufficient.
Okay, thank you. That's admirably clear. Emma, do you have any questions to the police at this stage? No? Then Ms. Sutherland, it's over to you to make the case for the application for the TAN.
Thank you, sir. Can I first of all apologise before I start, sir, in that I am sucking a throat lozenge, and that's mainly to control my coughing at the moment. So my apologies, and no disrespect is intended to you.
I will be doing the same thing.
In doing that.
I'll do the same thing in your hearing.
In relation to this application, sir, the applicant is one of the family members who runs the premises, Mr. Disbudek, and his brother, and also his father, involved in the actual running of the premises. They've had the premises for the past 2 years, since 2019, and they are looking that over this particular weekend, the premises is able to operate through till 5 o'clock. As you rightly indicated, sir, they currently have a license which enables them to operate until 4 on the Friday night into Saturday, and the Saturday night into Sunday. And it is able to operate until 2 o'clock on the rest of the week. And the temporary event notice would also extend the Sunday night into Monday until 5 o'clock. Of course, the late night food provision is from 11 o'clock until 5 o'clock, and then obviously at other times it's not licensable. In relation to this particular application, the situation as we set it out is that by allowing the premises to operate to a later time, to 5 o'clock on each of those nights, then with the policies in place, with the systems in place, with the personnel and CCTV in place, we would submit that the licensing objectives can be promoted. So in relation to the staff levels, in fact, so before I do that, it may be helpful if you look at the premises at the final page of the license of Appendix C. I do apologise, I haven't got the page number, but it's the, I think it's after page 7 of the license. It's probably the second to last page of your bundle.
It's page 19.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. There, so you'll see that very helpfully, there's a plan of the ground floor of the premises and also a street plan as well, which gives you how the premises relates into French Place and Shoreditch High Street. In relation to the staffing levels, there are 6 staff who are responsible in relation to the cooking. There's a kitchen porter, the manager, who in fact will be Mr. Disbudek's brother, and also they have, normally they would have 1 SIA registered doorman. The intention at this particular weekend would be to have 2 SIA doormen, and the role that the SIA doorman has is that in relation to the admission, if you look at the premises, so at 148, you'll see that the entrance door is marked, and the premises ground floor is divided pretty much in the middle, along the middle, so from the main door all the way down to where it says cold stow, which I think is standing for cold storage. That's divided in half by tables, and the queue then will proceed down the left hand side of the building until it reaches that part where it says cold stew, and then move to the right around to the counter, purchase items, and then obviously collect via the food display. That's the intention, and that's how the premises would operate. The second doorman, it's intended, would be able to cover the external area and would be able to control people in leaving the premises.
Council should.
Sorry, I'm hoping that you can hear me. I've got a lot of feedback noise in the background.
I'm afraid that the police are causing that because they're obviously working.
Okay, understood.
We can hear you.
As long as I'm not cutting you off, sir. So that's really the basis of the application. We submit that the presence of our staff and also the CCTV, which covers the entrance, also covers a little bit of the side of the premises in French Place, acts as a deterrent, will act as a deterrent. We would close the premises ordinarily at 4 o'clock. Obviously, the premises lights remain on for a period after closing, whilst the premises is cleaned, and that can in itself take a reasonable period of time, and probably up to about an hour. So in essence, what we're looking at doing is that whilst the that additional time between 4 and 5, that whilst the lights will remain on, the staff will remain present, and the doorman will also remain present, that we will be able to control the area and control the people coming in and out of the premises. So I don't know whether you have any particular questions in relation to the operation that I can assist you with.
Well, I can tell the issue is going to be that a doorman is fine, but a doorman has no statutory powers. And people are queuing in the street, causing nuisance in the street. The doorman can only ask them to move on and move away. If they don't, the doorman's left nothing they can do.
So I think you are correct in relation, obviously, to they only have common law powers, same powers that you or I would have in relation to controlling individuals or notifying the police, I suppose, of any particular difficulties. If it was felt to be of assistance, and it's not something I've discussed with Mr. Disbrudok, but it is something which has been useful in other areas, is the doorman actually wearing body-worn video cameras. That can assist and certainly can act as a deterrent, and is something which, if felt appropriate for the police, could be implemented.
I'm not sure that by itself really helps. One job expecting same sort of difficulties, perhaps. To the police, PC Hunswick, are you still with us? Yeah.
Yes, here I am.
Does that help in any way?
I'm afraid not. I mean, the problem is that that particular venue attracts everybody hanging around in the streets, eating their food. By its very nature, any extension hours is going to extend that problem further into the night. The only way to deal with that is to have police stationed outside dealing with the very points that you've just made. And unfortunately, that is not an effective use of police resources for them to stand there just so that premises can trade for a longer period over a weekend.
Okay, I think we'll move to discussions phase. Emma, do you have any questions to either party? Have you heard all you need to hear, you think?
I think I probably have. No, I don't think I do have any questions. I just wondered if the venue had taken any measures during, I mean, there's obviously, we've heard reference to problems occurring recently. I wondered how the venue had already responded to those issues.
Other than through the door supervisor, no additional steps. I understand that the actual, I think there was reference to a stabbing incident. I believe that was about 100 meters away, not directly at the premises, but other than the door supervisor, there's been no additional steps, madam.
So that's the proposal to have a door supervisor over Halloween.
Madam, the proposal over this weekend is to have 2 door supervisors, so an additional door supervisor over and above the one that they would ordinarily have. So it'd be 2.
Yeah, but that's a proposal for the temporary event notice for that weekend, not something that is already in place because I mean, I don't know whether the venue owner agrees that there have been issues outside, regardless of the stabbing. We've heard reference to a lot of people gathering and eating food from there. So there isn't currently an extra SIA to deal with those problems, and there hasn't been over that.
There hasn't been to date, madam. No, certainly in discussing the temporary event notice, with Mr. Disbuduk and obviously the police representation, it was felt that that may be a useful step to look at. And probably, Madam, from your comments and possibly also my discussions, it may well be, in fact, quite a useful thing to be looking at generally on a Friday and Saturday when the premises is operating through till 4. But certainly for the purposes of the temporary event notice, it's put forward as an additional person at this stage. The additional thought that I'd had during the meeting was raised by Councillor Bell, and whilst I accept that they only have normal common law powers, the fact that an individual is wearing a body-worn video, it can act as a deterrent and can help. And I've certainly seen that in a useful form in other parts of London.
But police's cases, there is now widespread disorder by the early mornings in Shoreditch. And to be honest, I don't hang out there anymore. I'm getting too old for that. But I can imagine, and I've heard countless seen footage of the police presented showing how bad it gets at times. And I can see how this application, particularly if it's decent food, would actually encourage people to hang around longer.
Chair, so if that was for the police to come in there, I'd just like to clarify the stabbing did occur directly outside Munch, and the victim did make his way over to Calvert Avenue. It was directly as a result of groups hanging around outside. There has been one SIA on the door recently, which has made no real difference to the groups hanging around because they're, ever so slightly just away from the front door of the venue. And as I say, we really, I've got nothing to add by carrying on. I'll just reiterating what I've already said.
Okay, so in summation, you're still opposed to any extension?
Yes, absolutely. An extension of hours is an extension of people hanging around outside, which is an extension of the chances of violent incidents and general ASD occurring. Position remains unchanged.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sutherland, do you want to sum up for the applicant?
Thank you, sir. I've only addressed the committee in relation to the, obviously in relation to the representation and the application for the counter notice. It's my understanding that the policy for the local authority, particularly in relation to the special policy area, doesn't apply in relation to temporary event notices. Certainly that's my understanding of the reading of your policy. But in any event, what we would submit to the council is that the counter notice isn't necessary to promote the licensing objectives, because by allowing the temporary event notice to operate for those additional hour on the Friday into the Saturday into the Sunday, and for the additional 3 hours of the Sunday into the Monday, that the licensing objectives can be promoted through the measures that I've set out in relation to the SIA and also body-worn video. So unless I can assist the committee further.
Okay. Emma, any final clarifications needed? Amanda, do you think there's anything we should have asked about that we haven't?
No.
I see Mr. Disbarak indicating. Do you want to come in? Please turn your microphone on.
Yes, good afternoon. Sorry, I just wanted to ask one question to the officer that is on the line. Sorry, I couldn't catch his name. With regards to the last incident that happened, that he said happened outside Munch, the stabbing, can I ask at what time that incident happened? Because as far as I remember, that stabbing happened after 4 a.m., which was after we was closed.
Yeah, it was slightly. I think it actually happened at about 3:30. But the whole point is, people are hanging around outside. Even after you've shut, people are still hanging outside because there's no dispersal, and that is our submission. That is the problem. People are hanging around outside your venue.
I understand, but so in regards to us remaining open or closed, people are still hanging outside. I'm finding it difficult to understand if we close, how it's going to help them go away, because incidents are still remaining to happen after we are closed.
Yeah, but did that particular stabbing happen at 3:30?
I remember it a bit different because I remember at 4 a.m. we were still open, and they closed the road.
I thought your representative submission was that it happened 100 meters away, but now you're saying you remember it happening. So you accept that it did happen outside your venue.
No, I accept the incident happened. I don't accept it happening outside my venue.
I think the important point is it's not about one incident alone.
Yeah, of course.
Police are alleging there's a pattern of people hanging around, and having a venue, particularly that serves good food, open late, encourages to hang around. And I can see their point on that. On the other hand, we also take into consideration that you're only supplying food and the mitigation measures you've offered. We will take those into account. I think all parties have had a chance to have their say. So if you could leave us now, if you phone Listing Service tomorrow morning, you'll get an outline decision, and we'll send you a full written decision within a few days. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir.